Hi, Lisa here, and today I'm going to show you a new twist on making a bowl cozy with the Martelli 10-inch template and fussy cut window set. The supplies you're going to need to make the bowl cozy is the Martelli 10-inch template and the fussy cut window. You're going to need some batting. You're going to need some fabric. Now I know you've seen these bowls done with regular fabric, but I'm going to show you how you could use large scale prints to make your bowl cozies. You're going to need, of course, the Martelli 45mm rotary cutter, a pencil, some scissors, and a ruler with at least a 1 or 2 inch marking on it. All right, so to get started, I'm going to introduce you to doing some with the panels. Now, if you're like me, you might have a collection of panels, and I adore fabric panels. This one here has 6 different chickens on it. So this is what I used for the sample that I have here today. But here's one that has some large tropical parrots and flowers on here. This would also be perfect for doing a bowl cozy with it. Or you might have a fabric that just has large scale prints. This one here, we've got a fox, we've got a deer. These would all be wonderful to use to make the bowl cozies. Now, how would we do that? Well, what makes it so amazing is these 2 pieces right here. This is our fussy cut window, and this is our template. So say if I wanted to have this in my bowl cozy, this fox here, I would have my fabric laid out, take my fussy cut window, and I would center it so it'd be right where I want it to be. I could have it angled, and if I have it the way I want it, then you're just going to pop your template down here and you're going to cut that out. So I'm going to show you with the chickens, because that's what I've got my samples made out of. So I took my panel and I cut it up, and I got my big pieces here. So this one here I'm going to use for the outside and for the inside. I'm going to take my 10-inch fussy cut window and I'm going to set it on here, and I'm going to kind of get it as even as I could get it. I've got registration marks here, so I can kind of look for where the center is. And if I'm happy with that look there, then you're going to take your template. I'm going to lay it on top. Now I can remove the window, and it grips and holds it in place for me. So I'm just going to get my regular 45mm rotary cutter, and I'm just going to cut around it. That's the magic of these templates. Now, if you wanted this to just be the outside and you wanted a solid piece for the inside, you could do that. But I'm just going to use the 2 different chickens here. I'm going to take my template again. I'm going to lay it on here. Get it centered the way I like. Drop my template down on here. Remove the window. Now I know what was in that window is now underneath my template for my cutting. So now I've got my 2 pieces. So now we need batting. So you're going to need batting for both sides. So I've got my little piece of scrap batting that I've been holding for a while. Now I'm just setting this on here to make sure that it was wide enough, and it is. So I'm going to lay my template on here, and I'm just going to go cut. I've got 2 of them that I'm cutting at the same time. And I like saving all of my little pieces right here because I usually throw them in a big old bag, and I love to make bags. Make these big dog beds with them. So they're perfect to save all your little tiny pieces that you're not going to be using. So now I've got my 2 pieces. You're going to take your fabric and you're going to layer it on top. Now you could pin it. If you have some basting spray, you could give it a little spritz of basting spray, because what we're going to do next is we're going to just do a quick sewing. And all we're going to do is we're going to take this to our sewing machine and we're going to sew from corner to corner on both of them, corner to corner. And this is where a coordinating thread will work for this. Corner to corner, here to here. And we'll go to the sewing machine, we'll go ahead and do that for you. All right, so we're going to sew from corner to corner. Now you can go ahead and mark this with a pencil if you wanted to, but it's real easy just to sew from corner to corner. It's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but as long as you start on one corner and come off on the other, and you're going to do that on each side, you're going to do that on each piece, because these two pieces is going to make one bowl cozy. I have my machine set in the middle, so it's at 4.5, and I've got a decent little stitch length. I think I have it at 2.4. And we're just going to sew all the way down and do the second one too. Now this is where you got to be a little careful. Sometimes your machine will want to eat that corner. So you can have a little starter piece or just bring it in just a little bit. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to fold it in half, right sides together. And you're going to take your ruler, and I'm using a little 1-inch ruler, and I've marked it 1 inch, 2 inch, and we're going to go 1 inch up the raw edge side and 2 inches over on the fold. So this is where I just lay the ruler here, and with a marking utensil, which I do not have. I'm going to use a little pin here. I'm just going to put a little dot here. And I'm putting a little dot right here. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Two inches here and 1 inch here. So my mark is from, then we're going to sew from here to here, here to here. And then we're going to do it again on this side, but we'll go ahead and get this one done. And we're going to do that to all 4 sides. So you could draw a line or you could just eyeball it. And you're going to open it back up and you're going to match up your corner here, your corners here. Keep it nice and get it flat. Get your ruler. I'm going to mark again the 1 inch here and 2 inches here. Then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. One inch, 2 inches. I'm going to do it to this, and I'm going to do it to the other side. And when I get that finished, I'll be right back with you. So we got all 4 sides sewn on both pieces. So now all you need to do is I'm just going to clip this. So I'm going to just go right up against my stitch in here, and about a 1/4 inch away, I'm just going to go ahead and trim these off on all 4 sides on both of the pieces. There. So now both of them are done that way. So now you're going to take your 2 bowl cozies that you've just done, and you're going to have one where it's got this on the inside. You're going to sew them right sides together. So I'm going to turn this one and I'm going to nest it inside the bowl. And I'm going to match up my corners. And what we're going to do is we're going to now sew all the way around. And we're going to leave an opening, about a 2-inch opening on one side, so that we can be able to turn it out. When I'm doing my sewing, I'll start at a corner, and I get to where these kind of angle, where it kind of angles in. I just kind of like nest those just a little bit, and then I pivot, and then I come back out to the next corner and then pivot around. Now I've seen some people that like to, maybe you could round these off if you wanted to. You could have it where it be more of a curved. We're just going to go ahead and keep it with the angle here. So just take me a minute just to get these all sewed in. And be sure to leave your 2-inch opening, so you're going to back tack, leave your space, and then back tack again. I'm doing this with a 1/4 inch. All right, so you're going to take a minute and check all the way around, make sure you got it through on both sides. So here's my opening. Before I go ahead and turn it, I go ahead and clip my corners, remove some of that excess bulk. So I'm clipping right up to the sewing edge. Don't cut your stitches. You just want to get rid of the excess bulk here. And more pieces to put in the doggy bag. All right, so here's my opening right here. And you're going to go ahead and pull it through. It's going to be a little tight, but you'll be able to get there. Be sure to poke out your corners. If you have a turning tool, I like to use a chopstick or my grandma's knitting needle, just as something that can get in there and poke out those corners for you. All right, so if you notice, chickens aren't distorted, they're just cute as a button. They worked really good for using a panel or a large print. Now we got a little bit of an opening right here. So you got 2 options. Just you can hand stitch that closed, or you could use your sewing machine and stitch it closed, or if you want, you can do a top stitch all the way around. I'm going to do a simple top stitch. So I'm going to kind of push the fold in there, kind of give it a little tug. It kind of holds it in place. I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to do a top stitch all the way around. Now you can take this to your iron and kind of iron this, but I'm just going to roll it back with my fingers as I go and get it secured as I do my top stitch. Now I like to have my top stitch with a little bit of a larger stitch. So I'm going to do it at about between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch, but I'm going to set my stitch length to around about 2.4. Now you're dealing with a lot of bulk, particularly at the corners, so just take it slow and steady. And sometimes it works, instead of just pivoting, if you kind of just do that curve around that so it doesn't catch it and try to go down into the feed dogs. I'm not going to do a back tack, I'm just going to start and then I'm going to do a couple stitches over. Now it's going to get thick again right here where you had your double seams matching up right here. So be careful right here as you're going over that. Just take it nice and slow. I find that if I grab the back and just tug it a little bit, it kind of helps pull it through. But don't pull too hard, you don't want to break a needle. Well, here it is, all finished. All you need to do is just clip some threads and it's ready to go, and it only takes minutes to make these. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed my take on the bowl cozy made with a fabric panel. Check us out at martellinotions.com Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.